It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Tell me what your title is and what your role is here.
So I'm an RN nurse manager of the float pool. I'm here at PPMC. That is a department with 100 staff, 70 of those being nurses and 30 CNA2s.
How long have you been here at PPMC?
Actually, this is my 20th year.
What?
Yeah. This is my home.
What are you going to do for a living?
I haven't decided yet, so.
20 years.
Started when I was 15.
Mind blown. What brought you here?
It was 2 weeks after my 15th birthday. I knew I wanted to get a job here because my sister and brother both worked here as well. I always looked up to my sister, had to do everything that she was doing. We actually started in the kitchen, dietary service, delivering food trays to patients.
What do you think it is that called you to this profession and in this place? You said because your sister or brother came here?
They both worked here in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so that's what initially drew me, and I was just so eager to have my first job.
Yeah.
And so delivering trays to patients, I actually initially fell in love with the older patients. Now I'm supposed to call geriatric, but back then I knew I loved old people when I started delivering trays and helping out, and it was just the little things I was doing. I was delivering a tray to a patient, and she could only have clear liquids, I think, for a procedure the next day.
Yeah.
So one of the items on her tray was green Jell-O. So I brought it in, smile on my face, and she's like, "Oh, is there any way I can get red Jell-O? I've been trying to get red Jell-O all week." I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll go run and get you some red Jell-O," and brought it in there, and she teared up, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And to me, it wasn't a big deal because it was like, it's part of my job. But to her, the fact that I was so willing to help her out, and she had explained to me, you know what, it's the little things that matter. It's how you made me feel that I wasn't a bother, and it was just the little thing that you were so eager to get from me. And that really stuck with me because it really is the little things that nurses do every day that they don't think about, but it makes a huge impact for the patients.
I really love that because it reinforces an observation that I've had in the decade or so that I've been in healthcare, and that's sometimes you don't need more medical treatments to feel better. That little act of compassion by swapping out green Jell-O for red, how impactful that was to this patient. Was there a moment, any sort of episode that you found really challenging?
I have. I working in the emergency department for 11 years. I have been exposed to many challenging patients, but realizing it's not about me. It's about them and why they're here. Everybody that we encounter has a story we know nothing about. And really understanding that, it just makes you see things differently. The frequent patients that we see, they're frequent because they have chronic issues. They need our help and assistance. Compassion and dignity, that goes a long way. Think about from their perspective. The fact that they're in the emergency department, they need help, and it is our duty to help them, not for them, but with them together and getting them involved in the care and really encouraging others to see it like that too and spreading that around. I know it's a very challenging and difficult job, 12-hour shifts, not being able to go to the bathroom in multiple hours, but realizing putting it in the patient perspective. And I think Providence does a really good job about that, showing compassion. That's what they deserve.
Did you come by this gentle, this compassionate wisdom over a period of time, or was there an epiphany?
It took me a couple years to realize that because I found myself starting to get jaded.
What did that look like?
I felt myself becoming negative. I'm like, that's not who I am.
Was there anybody in your life that helped you with that?
Absolutely. 2 people specifically really helped me with that, and those are my leaders in the emergency department, my nurse manager, and then director as well. And I know my director always reiterated, just think positive intent. Assume positive intent in others. And the other one, he was always like, no, change your thinking. They're here for a reason. And it takes maybe one time of missing something because you assume something about that patient. Oh, they're just here for one thing. And you miss a critical value or critical incident because you overlook it, because you assume something. And just changing your focus of never assume anything. They're here for a reason. They have chronic medical conditions. Treat them with compassion.
Wonderful. Well, Therese, I want to thank you for your time. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Providence raised me, and my plan is to be here to the last day, maybe when I'm an older lady at 85.
Thank you for that unsolicited testimonial. That's wonderful. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.